Hello and welcome, my brainstem occupiers. How you doing today? It's Chris here, and we have got to do some science for you guys. So today we're going to compare the blade shooter on the left, this is the 230 tack shooter, to the 203 tack shooter on the right, the tack sprayer. So will the tack sprayer be able to keep up with the blade shooter? Now, I gotta let you guys know that I've done some tack shooter testing in the past, and with my tack shooter testing in the past, kind of obsolete as it was, I found the blade shooter to be the most efficient tack shooter for overall crazy grouped popping power. But that doesn't mean that he's going to be that good in real life scenarios. So what we want to do is we want to test him out against some rounds that we might actually be fighting in the game. So we sent out round 15, both ended up popping all the frickin' balloons. We sent out round 20, both did a pretty good job overall, but the blade shooter did slightly better. Gets round 23 over here, same exact thing is going on. It's very, very similar. Like, there's not much of a difference here as far as how many balloons are sneaking through. In fact, both of these guys have 5 total balloons, or RBE equivalents, sneak through against round 23. Very, very interesting so far. I should mention, though, that the blade shooter is actually slightly more expensive than the tack sprayer by about $200 or $300 or so, depending on which game mode you're on. So, is he really worth it to spend that much money? And on top of spending that much money, not really getting any good amount of popping power until you get that final third tier upgrade. We're buying range, and then we're buying range, and then finally we get the blade shooter over there. So we're going to spend a pretty good chunk of money to finally get this third tier tack shooter. Is it going to be worth it to save up all that much money, or should we spend the slow, small amounts of money to eventually get this guy over here, the tack sprayer? Alright, so still, no definitive answer so far. Everything has been extremely, extremely close. And it seems like it doesn't really matter on the low rounds which one you're going to go for. Pick your poison. Whatever you like, guys, is probably going to work just fine for you. But you do notice that the pierce on this blade shooter is slightly better. So against big chunks of grouped balloons, we can definitely handle them better with this blade shooter. I should say that this range is part of the tower, but on this map it actually helps him out even more than usual. So you notice that the blades are actually sneaking through not just the small circle over here, but hitting the balloons beyond that circle on the other side over there as well, giving him again slightly more popping power. This may not be the case on every single map. So on round 35, how did we do? Again, fairly similar. Tack shooter is able to pop most of the balloons. Both tack shooters are able to pop most of the balloons, but you see the blade shooters did a slightly better job against the balloons overall. Now, huge chunks of balloons at round 39. Will the tack sprayer actually be able to keep up over here? It's not looking too good for us, guys. The rainbows are just too powerful, and then the regen balloons obviously are extremely, extremely painful as well. The tack sprayer finally going to succumb over here, guys. Finally going to lose some lives. The blade shooter does lose a couple as well, but not nearly as many as the tack sprayer. So far, again, you gotta give the grouped popping power to this blade shooter. But does that mean that every single time you should go for the tack sprayer? Or excuse me, you should go for the blade shooter. Well, what if we send out some higher tier balloons over here? How are these guys going to fare? Well, we have many more projectiles with our tack sprayer. We're expecting him to do more damage against mob class balloons. And based on just looking at it, right here we can see the tack sprayer damages the mob, and not just damages them barely. He actually does a decent amount of damage, where the blade shooter does almost nothing. If we look at the pop counts over here, blade shooter is going to do about 29 damage, and the tack shooter, or the tack sprayer, is going to do about 60 damage. Double the Moab damage that the blade shooter can do. Holy crap. So we're seeing that these tack sprayers are better against, well, things that need a lot of small amounts of damage, like ceramic balloons and Moab balloons, BFBs. Even going further than that, guys, the tack sprayer has been good for that. But he also doesn't have that much pierce, so if there are balloons in the way, he may not be able to pop the ceramics quite as easily. So on round 49, we do another real-life test, and what do we see? Well, we see the tack sprayer is able to actually pop the ceramic layers a little bit easier if there's no balloons in the way. When there's tons of balloons in the way, he doesn't do as much damage to that ceramic layer. But overall, they end up doing a fairly good job against round 49 together. But I would say, again, I'd still give it, believe it or not, to the blade shooter. When you get this many balloons coming out on the screen, man, you just can't deny how much pierce it has. It is a solid tower. It's going to be your best friend over here. So we've got one last quickety-quick test for you guys right here. We wanted to send out 300 invisible balloons and just see what the overall damage comparison is going to be. This is the last thing we've got for you guys. Again, all I gotta say is I personally like the Blade Shooter a little bit better, but he is a little bit more expensive, and it does take that extra third tier, basically two worthless upgrades to get to that nice, solid third tier upgrade that we want to get, that Blade Shooter right there. Alright, let's finish it off here, boys. We've got the rainbow balloons coming out. And what you're going to notice is that we're going to look at the pop count of the top left texture over here. And if you compare these guys, we've got about 2,000 on both of them, alright? What's going to happen in the end over here? Well, the Blade Shooter is just going to absolutely freaking annihilate the tack sprayer over here in overall possible popping power, going up to over 4,000, where the tack sprayer is not even going to reach a measly 3,000 over here. So that's the BTD Science episode for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you press that like button for me, man. Please, please do it for me, guys. If you enjoyed, I would love it. Subscribe if you haven't, and of course, have a super duper delicious day.